Rupees 2.14 lakhs on-road Mumbai might sound expensive for a 160cc motorcycle because it is, but at least this motorcycle is less overpriced than the motorcycle it replaces. This is the KTM Duke 160, which replaces the KTM Duke 125. Thankfully, now we have at least more power for the price. Anyways, coming to this motorcycle, which is actually based on the Duke 200, it actually looks quite compact because it is. In fact, they have done a lot of cutting here and there to reduce the weight of this motorcycle, which is 12 kgs lighter than the Duke 200. You get the split LED light setup, trait of every KTM motorcycle, I guess, Duke at least, because yeah, the design of the light kind of looks nice and aggressive as well. You get LED indicators here. You get WP upside down forks, however they are slimmer because these are 37mm in terms of size. However, the bigger Dukes get 43mm upside down forks. Reflector treatment here. Now if you notice, the tire size has been carried forward, which means that it's over tired for a 160cc motorcycle, because at the front you get 110/70/17. Meanwhile, at the rear you obviously get really thick tires, 140/60/17. Rear disc 230mm, aluminum swing arm, steel trellis frame. You know what? It's actually slimmer. In fact, the grab rails are also slimmer. All this has been done to reduce the weight of this motorcycle. The disc is on this side at the rear. At the front, it's on this side. So 320mm disc at the front, bi-bri brakes, which is by Brembo. Meanwhile, you obviously get this Jintu Mintu crash guard, which doesn't really help in case of a crash. The design is really damn freaking awesome. The seat height is 815mm, which is actually good. Meanwhile, the ground clearance is 174mm and it is such an aggressive looking motorcycle. When you look at it, you're like, this must be having a lot of power. But no, not this one at least. Now, the color scheme is also nice. You get grey, you get orange, obviously because it's KTM. Orange finishing on the steel trellis frame. And I think your foot will be quite high, person who's sitting behind. Stepped up seat, pillion will not really be comfortable, but at least the pillion has grab handles to hold on to. Tank size is 10.1 liters, which is the smallest of the Duke range, because the Duke 390 and the Duke 250 have a bigger tank of 15 liters. Yeah, Chintu Mintu tank, but then it's going to be much more efficient. Beautiful looking engine which says Racing KTM right there, and you get an underbelly exhaust here. I think the fit finish of this motorcycle is absolutely phenomenal. Looks really damn awesome. And obviously LED indicators at the rear as well. Since day one, KTM has been using these indicators. They have not changed it. LED light, of course, which actually brings me to the switchgear of this motorcycle, which also is quite premium here. So this is actually a 5-inch screen right there, which looks okay, fine, I would say. And there's this dummy here. Let's turn on the motorcycle. One touch starter. Beautiful. In fact, let's turn it off and let's turn it on again. And there it does this full swipe up thing, says ready to race. Hits 299 km/h. Like really, what are you even up to? Hazard light button here. This is obviously for the high beam, and the horn is okay. It's not great. Same mirrors as the one on my Duke 390. I need to talk a bit about that as well when we are riding this motorcycle. Obviously, space here is good enough, which is actually quite nice. Meanwhile, let's see what's there in this cluster. So it's saying side stand is down right now, and there you're getting trip information here. I can come into the menu, so I can turn on and off the ABS, because there's road and supermoto ABS, which actually turns off the rear ABS. Bike information, it's telling me the range here, which is quite nice. And trip info, trip 1, trip 2. You can come into the settings and make changes to a lot of things as well, like where you want the shift light to work. So there's something known as extras here, extra functions, which is basically the ABS mode. So yeah, the cluster is decent, not much inside this cluster. Let's turn on the motorcycle, let's rev it. Yeah, red lines at 10,000 RPM, and also gives me a lot of vibrations here, which is kind of expected because this is a single cylinder engine motorcycle. No adjustable levers here. Yeah, the side stand is down at the moment, so it tells me that, but then it vanishes if I press this button. Overall switchgear quality and all is actually quite nice. So this motorcycle does seem quite impressive for a 160cc motorcycle, but is the engine better than a 125? Obviously it is, but still, let's give it a go. Alright, let's turn on the motorcycle. One touch start, ready to race, and off we go. Okay, first things first, if you see that the cluster doesn't look that great, because this is actually the LCD cluster, not the TFT one. The TFT one is a different variant, which is actually the same cluster as the Duke 390, which is obviously fantastic.
but you have to pay 9,000 more for that. And if you want KTM's Connect app to be working, then you have to pay rupees 5,000 for Bluetooth connectivity. Now anyways, this is a motorcycle, not a gadget, so let's not get into all this. You have turn-by-turn navigation with the KTM Connect app, and you can listen to music and all those things you can obviously do. Bike feels really compact and small, which is actually a very good thing considering that this is a 160cc motorcycle. And yeah, gearing is like really short. I'm already into 4th at like 74 kilometers per hour, so super short gearing here. Bike feels really nimble and agile, like super chintu mintu. Very compact. In fact, the weight of this motorcycle is around 147 kgs, which makes it super duper light, very flickable as well. My goodness, I feel like I'm riding a toy right now. That's how chintu mintu this particular motorcycle is. So what is the engine? It's a 164.2cc engine, which is a single cylinder unit. Obviously KTM is only doing single cylinders in India, but it's not for 8 motorcycles or whatever. So there's the 160 Duke, which is this one. There's a 200 Duke, there's a 250, and there's the 390, which will be discontinued soon. What? Yeah, the 390 will be discontinued soon, I guess, because with the new taxation, which is putting 350cc plus motorcycles as big bikes with much higher GST rate, KTM will definitely launch a 350cc version of the Duke 390, which will replace the Duke. Duke 350, which will replace the Duke 390. Motorcycle actually feels quite peppy somehow. So this motorcycle is making 19 PS of power and a torque output which is 15.5 Newton meters, resulting in a mic which is obviously very nice to ride in the city, but feels quite okay to ride out on the highway. Obviously it's not very fast, so you won't get speed challenge for sure, but it feels very sprightly and fun because the gearing is super short. So it is tractable lower down the rev range. Mid range is okay, but the top end is really where the action lies in typical KTM fashion. So the more you rev it, the more it rewards you. It's a motorcycle which loves to be ridden in hyper mode. Yeah, that's how it obviously feels in the way the gearing has been done here. Fuel reserve already? What? You're a 160cc motorcycle. How can you drink so much fuel? What's wrong with you? Yeah, Bullet guys doing Bullet things. Splendor guys doing Splendor things. That is the fastest Indian motorcycle, the 220F. Gearbox is smooth, yeah. The clutch is also on the lighter side, and off we go. Gearing is so short now. I'm running into the rev limiter time and again. Yeah, it is a slow motorcycle. It's not fast, but then what do you expect from a motorcycle which has just 19 PS of power? Performance is actually good for the displacement, and when compared to the Duke 125, obviously performance is very good here. The only problem is there are a lot of vibes which I can feel on the foot pegs right now, a bit on the tank, a bit on the handlebar, but on the foot pegs they are unbearable. 115 kilometers per hour is what I hit, but top speed is around 125 kilometers per hour. Down a cliff probably, because obviously it's going to take a lot of time to reach there. Throttle is really smooth, bike feels nice, sound is decent, single cylinder, what do you expect? But definitely it feels nice and sprightly, and then the gearbox is smooth, the clutch is also on the lighter side, it has got slipper clutch. But the best thing are the brakes. They are very good here, super brakes, because this is a motorcycle which is small with strong brakes from the bigger Dukes, not from the 200 here. Can you hear it? The typical KTM unrefinedness or vibrations at idle. That's a Tesla. Let's go. Oh, electric motor torque, and off we go. No way this Duke 160 is going to catch up with that. Power, yes. Moral of the story, all you need is a 160cc KTM motorcycle to outrun a Tesla, but probably that won't work if it's a Fronx, which probably has a turbo there. Yeah, this is slow, but it's still very good for the city because it's so nimble, flickable and agile as well. So much grip from the tires. So the hardware is for a much bigger motorcycle, and with the Chintu Mintu engine here, everything here feels in control, proper control. You have got Supermoto ABS, wherein you can turn off the rear ABS to do slides as well. I like this motorcycle, but there's a problem. It's expensive, but the reason why they replaced the Duke 125 with this one was simple. They were like, you know, we need to compete with Yamaha, which has the MT-15, which is actually a cheaper motorcycle with a higher top speed. The maths is just not mathing here. Okay, we're just going to take a quick U-turn. Handlebar is quite light here. Handling is good. It's nimble, it's flickable, and the ride is also decent. Although, obviously, it is on the stiffer side. Expectedly, it has to be on the stiffer side because that's what KTM is all about. Feels nice and punchy, yeah, but top end is where the love is. Let's launch it, and this time I'm going to shut the fluff off. Okay, into first. Fuel reserve is fine. Clutchless upshifts, beautifully done here. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in like 3 business days. A lot of wind blast, but not as much also because obviously speeds are not as high here. So that brings me to the fact that this motorcycle's cost is rupees 2.05 lakhs, this particular one. 2.14 lakhs, which is obviously if you opt for, okay, it's not going beyond 115 kilometers per hour. I need a really long road. So 100 and, what was I saying? Yeah, 2.14 lakhs for the TFT one, the version with the TFT screen. And rupees 2.2 lakhs for the RC 160. The RC is obviously... Oh, where's the road gone? The RC is obviously the one with the dome, as people like to call it. Somehow they've refined the motorcycle beautifully well. But if you want the Duke 200, you have to pay rupees 2.31 lakhs. I think the premium is well worth it because the Duke 200 is obviously much better in terms of performance. Because of the short gearing now, you have to be really careful because you keep hitting the red line, so you have to be very eager to upshift, first thing. And second thing is obviously you drink a lot more fuel if you ride it in higher end of the rev range. Fuel efficiency should be around 35 kilometers per liter, going up to 40 kilometers per liter, but obviously you can't ride the way I am riding right now, so that's something you have to be cautious about for sure. Suspension travel at the front, 138 mm, at the rear 161 mm. So yeah, good amount of suspension travel, or did I say it ulta pulta? Doesn't really matter because the suspension is compliant. It's not as stiff as what KTM is known for. But that actually brings me to the problem with this motorcycle, which is the price. It's on the heavier side. Obviously Yamaha is slightly cheaper, but then Yamaha's fan following is in a different league. KTM has started to be associated with chapris, unfortunately, which is so unfair for the brand. Okay, let's rev it. 10,500 RPM rev limiter here, and off we go, bro. What are you doing? A signal is closed in. Oh my god, the OG. Woo! So I'm telling you what is the problem. The problem is the price of this motorcycle. Rupees 2.05 lakhs is the exact amount I paid for my Duke 390, which I bought 13 years back, and that Duke 390's price has become almost double. With the motorcycle not even getting an extra cylinder, all it got is a lot more features and a lot more refinement, which nobody asked for. So I think the motorcycles are going in a wrong direction. We don't want turn-by-turn navigation or audio system and music and all those things in a motorcycle. I want more power. I want twin cylinders. Bajaj is really disappointed by not offering a twin cylinder yet. They should have done it. I don't know why they're sleeping on twin cylinder. Oh, my signal is green. What am I doing? Why am I sleeping? Just like Bajaj right now. Funny thing. Actually, this is quite a nice motorcycle, and obviously when compared to the MT-15, this is a serious challenger right now. It's just that, you know, you're better off getting a bigger displacement KTM motorcycle, because at the end of the day, there's no replacement for displacement for all those who just want a KTM motorcycle. Well, this is a good starting point, definitely better than the Duke 125. And on that bombshell, it's time to end. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give the thumbs up, that's a like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Bye bye.